I never imagined the woman I married, the woman I once believed was my soulmate, would one day rip apart everything I held dear. But that's the thing about betrayal, it never comes from enemies. It comes from the people you love. My name is Alex Carter, 34 years old, born and raised in Chicago. I'm a software engineer, quiet by nature, and always someone who preferred routine over chaos. 3 years ago, I married Sarah, a smart, charming, and beautiful woman who worked as a marketing executive. We had a modest house in a calm suburb, and from the outside, everything looked perfect. The first 2 years were beautiful. We laughed a lot, went on road trips, and dreamed of kids. Sarah had a magnetic personality. People loved her, including my father, Richard Carter. He was a retired Army veteran in his mid-50s. Strong, dignified, and strict growing up, but somehow, retirement had softened him. After my mother died 5 years ago, Dad often visited me for dinners, sometimes even staying over for weekends. At first, it made sense. Sarah had always gotten along with Dad. They talked about politics, books, movies. She'd often joke, "You and your dad are like copies of each other, just 20 years apart." I never once doubted their connection was anything but respectful. Until everything shattered. Chapter 1: The Shifting Silence. It started with the silence. You know, the kind that creeps in slowly and changes the air in a house. Sarah became distant, not cold, just distracted. Her phone was always face down. She'd go for late evening walks alone. When I asked, she'd smile and say, "Just clearing my head." One night I came home early from work and heard laughter, her laughter. I stood quietly at the entrance, the sound coming from the back patio. As I walked outside, I saw her with my father. They were drinking wine, her legs tucked under her on the sofa, his arm casually thrown on the backrest behind her. When they saw me, they both stiffened, just for a second, but it was enough. "Hey, kiddo," Dad said with that fake warmth I hadn't heard before. "Didn't know you were coming by today, Dad," I said slowly. "I stopped by to return your drill. Sarah invited me to stay for dinner." That night I couldn't sleep. I wanted to believe it was just my imagination. But something inside me had shifted. Over the next month, Dad came by more often than usual. Sometimes I'd come home and his truck would already be in the driveway. Sarah would be in the kitchen, smiling too quickly, her lips freshly glossed. I started to notice small things. His favorite beer stocked in the fridge, his aftershave scent lingering in the guest room even when he wasn't supposed to be staying over. I checked our security camera footage, just once, when I was working late. What I saw made my stomach twist. Dad arrived at 3:15 p.m. I got home at 6. The footage between 3:20 and 5:55 was mysteriously gone. Deleted. When I confronted Sarah, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "You're being paranoid, Alex. He's your father. Stop being jealous of your own dad." That was the first time I saw a flash of cruelty in her eyes. Chapter 3: The Truth Revealed. I hired a private investigator 2 weeks later. I didn't want to. I felt ashamed, guilty. But I needed the truth, even if it tore me apart. What he brought back felt like a punch to the soul. Pictures. Video. Hotel records. My wife, my Sarah, kissing my father passionately in the parking lot of a motel 30 minutes from our home. Room service bills with both their names. My father signing in under a fake name. I stared at the pictures for hours. The woman I loved. The man who raised me. My blood. My wife. Together. Chapter 4: Confrontation. I waited until Saturday. I asked them both to come over, said I wanted to have a family dinner. Dad arrived first. He looked casual, confident even. Sarah came minutes later, in a red dress I had bought her for our anniversary. I didn't play games. I put the pictures on the table. No one spoke. Sarah was the first to move. She took a deep breath, looked me straight in the eye and said, "I didn't want this to happen, Alex. But I fell in love with him." I blinked. With my father? Dad finally spoke. I didn't plan it either. It just happened. We connected in a way I never expected. You're my father, I screamed, shoving the table hard enough to knock over the wine glasses. And you're my wife. What the hell kind of people are you? Neither had an answer. Aftermath. They didn't stay long after that. Sarah moved out the next day. My father tried to call me. I blocked him. My world shattered. My marriage was over. My relationship with my father? Dead. People talk about heartbreak like it's a sharp pain, but the real thing is more like drowning. Slow, suffocating, and endless. But here's the thing, betrayal doesn't end you. It reshapes you. Months went by. I started therapy. I began writing code for a mental health app. Something to help others process trauma. I poured all my pain into that project. One day at a tech meetup, I met Melissa, kind eyes, warm voice, divorced with a daughter. She didn't try to fix me. She just listened. We started slow. Coffee. Walks. Honest conversations. Chapter 6, Healing. One night, a year later, I got an email from Sarah. She said she and my father had broken up. That things didn't work out. That she hoped I could one day forgive her. I never replied. Forgiveness isn't about them, it's about me. And I'm not there yet. Dad tried one last time on my birthday. Sent a card. No return address. Just 4 words. I'm sorry, my son. I burned it. Some scars don't need reminders. Some relationships should stay dead. Chapter 7, Redemption. It's been 2 years now. I live in a small apartment downtown. My app got funding. I help others going through betrayal. I speak at support groups. I've turned my pain into purpose. And Melissa? She's still here. Still kind. Still patient. Her daughter calls me Alex the Fixer. I don't believe in fairy tales anymore. But I believe in rebuilding. I believe that the worst things in life can still lead to the best versions of ourselves, if we survive them.